All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Lex, and today we're finally going to be talking about the season finale of The Idol. That's right, the most controversial show to come out. This show definitely didn't shy away from the headlines with all the controversies going with the Weeknd, the writing, all the things that was happening behind the scenes. You guys have read it, you guys seen it all, and finally they've been pushed to the edge. And maybe, in my opinion, they had to put the season finale out, especially because they wanted this thing to go out of here already. And here we are, man. And with all that being said, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm gonna be giving the review. I'm gonna try to be as non-biased as I can, just even with the whole information. I just want to be honest with the audience. I want to be honest with you guys that I'm not gonna discredit it because of the behind the scenes. I'm gonna review it as I saw it, what I thought about it. You know, I try to be as honest and genuine as I can in these videos. So just letting you guys know the fair warning. You know, here we go. So The Idol stars The Weeknd and Lily Rose Depp. What an exciting duo of a cast. Lily Rose Depp, this is the first time actually seeing her on anything. She might have done other things. I didn't see her IMDb yet, but yeah, this is definitely my first time seeing her on the screen or any type of screen. Also, The Weeknd, we saw him on Uncut Gems, had a little bit small part there, but this is kind of his acting debut in a way. I would say. This show was definitely met with a lot of like intensity in the beginning of the show. The very first episode, we get to see who Lily Rose Depp is, her character, kind of the things that are going through, the environment, the chaoticness of what it is to be kind of a pop star, what it is to be somebody who's coming up in the music industry, and the kind of toxicities around it. This is kind of the following storyline that we're going with here. You know, it's just kind of, this is kind of the behind the scenes of what it is to be in an environment who's someone is being used. And this is kind of, we're putting the limelight on this and what it takes to be inspired to make a song, what it is to be manipulated, what it is to feel like taken advantage of. And that's kind of the concept that they were kind of going here until the season finale. Hopefully you guys have watched and have seen. I know a lot of guys have kind of jumped ship on the first episode, but if you guys sticked around, you got to see the season finale. We really got to see that big surprise at the end there. So this is going to be a little bit spoilery, so you guys want to check out of here if you don't and come back. So in the last episode, we got to see Lily Rose Depp's character kind of like showing the fact that maybe she had control the entire time. You know, this whole entire time you thought that she was being controlled. She didn't know any better, but in reality, she could have been using Tedros as a muse, using him to her advantage and really manipulating everybody around her, showing her to be kind of the one controlling the chess pieces in the entire thing. It kind of leaves a lot of into interpretation of what you could get from the show. It's like, do you think that she was lying about her things? You know, Tedros picks up one of the hairbrushes, looks at it, it's like, oh, this is new. You know, like and it kind of leaves you the question, did she really know, or did she really make all this stuff up about what was going on? And you got to sit there and wonder what is going on with this show. A lot of the show was structurally not put together very well. A lot of holes, a lot of missing parts, especially because they really skipped to the season finale. You got to really see a lot of things, open doors that were never explored. And that's the unfortunate thing about the show, is that it failed before it even got to launch. That's the unfortunate thing about the show, is that, we got to see a lot of outrage for the show, a lot of criticism through the show. And I definitely get it that it was definitely triggering for a lot of the audiences. If you're ready to really indulge in that and really put your mindset in it, it was a tough watch. It was definitely a tough watch. There was one scene where one of the guys is being abused by a dog collar, and he's kind of getting shocked, and it was very disturbing to watch. I could see where a lot of audiences could have a little difficulty getting through a lot of these scenes, and a lot of the sex play that was going on. A lot of people felt triggered about that as well. Feeling like, oh, this is kind of romanticizing torture, whatever. But in reality, I think that for me personally, it wasn't really those moments that really bothered me. It was more the fact that a lot of the characters felt shallow. There wasn't a lot of depth to them, no pun intended. But the reality is that they didn't really get to explore a lot of the characters like I would have liked them to. I don't know if that has to do with the whole writing direction that they did, or the story itself, or the fact that they were kind of forced to be canceled with the show, especially with the outrage going on. I don't know exactly why they were able to do that, but it's just like a lot of open doors that were never explored, a lot of characters that we didn't get in depth to, that it was unfortunate. I think there was a little bit more interesting characters. I think One of her managers was an interesting character, forgetting her name. Her best friend was an interesting character, almost set as like the more moral character through the story. But you got to see kind of how she kind of messed her over, if you believe the fact that Lily Rose knew the entire time that she was being the manipulative person the entire time. You get to really see like kind of what it is if you subscribe to that version or perspective of the show, however you want to see it. But nothing really got to launch. Nothing really like, it was just kind of a lot of things to hard. It was kind of a lot of hard pills to swallow through the whole thing, but it was never rewarding. It was never satisfying. You did not feel satisfied. Even the ending was not satisfying. You know, when she finally got to say that, hey, this is my lover, this is the person I care for. That wasn't even satisfying. Here's the problem with the show. If you're really going to ask me, it isn't the whole torture thing or what it is to be manipulated. It was just the whole fact that there is no level of depth into the characters. It was just plain. It was just nothing that was like super. No one went through something that was satisfying. There was no resolution. It was just all chaos, all manipulation, all negativity, all bad people. And I think that's what a lot of viewers themselves had to take from that, because it was just like, man, what did I just watch? I did not feel rewarding from this. It would felt almost like a waste of time. And that's the unfortunate thing, because this could have had potential by telling a story about someone who's suffering from trauma, or who's suffering from this, or being taken advantage of, or them taking advantage of everybody and using people as muses. And it could have told a grander story in such a better way if we were able to kind of explore a little more about the characters and maybe a little bit more focused on the story rather than, the scenes themselves. I gotta say the score was pretty amazing. A lot of the songs sounded really good. We got to hear a little bit of the Weeknd as well. Through most of the songs, you got to hear a little bit of his kind of palette of music in there. It was lovely to hear. I can't wait to his next album. Still gonna be listening to him. I know a lot of people are kind of bagging on him right now, but I still gonna enjoy it. I'm not really falling into the crowds or the audiences, what they really have to say about it. I think overall as a show, it's just not good. Set aside the drama and the conflicts that are going on with the show, I think the show itself is not good, and they kind of shot themselves both in the leg by kind of like not sticking through with the entire series, because you could really tell in that last episode of this past week that there was a lot of things that were missing, and that was the unfortunate part of the show, is that nothing ever got to kind of do that full circle moment. No one got to really launched themselves up. In reality, it was just kind of everybody digging themselves a deeper grave. And I think that's what left a salty taste in the mouth for a lot of viewers, especially for myself. I think that's the unfortunate thing, because there could have been a lot of potential for this show. There could have been a lot of things, they could have gone such a different way if maybe they were giving a little bit more time, maybe a little bit of more focus, right? Maybe a little bit. They could have told a story in such a way that they had amazing songwriters. They had talented people. They had everything filled to the brim of like creative people around them, especially the guy who created Euphoria, right? Or he did something with Euphoria. It's a great show like that, who's also telling the story of somebody going through addiction and somebody trying to resolve their issues. You get to see the chaotic nature of every character in that show. Whereas in this one, it just didn't feel that way. It was just chaos and more chaos and more chaos. And you left a lot of kind of rocks unturned or stones unturned that just didn't feel like you really wanted to see what was on the other side of that. Especially not everybody feels kind of likable. The only likable people were kind of the friends who was kind of like looking at, hey, this is not okay, what is going on here, but stayed quiet through it all. So a lot of these characters fell short. The story definitely fell short. The ending was kind of not the best ending there. I did not like the direction they went there, because it was all kind of like it didn't stand on its 2 feet. Like, if she was really manipulating the entire time, why is she gonna keep him as a lapdog? Why is she gonna keep him around? You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like unconfidence. It felt like the whole show didn't have confidence, and it's like it was being pulled in every which direction, and it just felt unfocused. And it's kind of like, man, there was a lot of potential, but potential is only potential until it's actually materialized. So that's the unfortunate part of the show. I think overall, I just feel like, what did I just watch? It just feels like, man, like, what was this? And and it sucks. It really does suck. So this show was not good. Did I definitely did not like it. With all this being said, I gotta give this show a 4 out of 10. It's not a good show. Do not recommend it. It's just a waste of time, really. And hopefully we get to see what ends up happening with this. Maybe they just move on, and that was kind of it. Don't We haven't really seen anybody talk about the controversies with the show and stuff like that. But putting all that to the side, it just generally was not a good show. And I think that's about it, guys. I mean, I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. What you thought about the show? Did you enjoy it? What are some parts that you enjoyed? What are some parts that you dislike? Let me know what you thought, man, because I would love to hear it all. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy your day. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you smash that sub button. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.